Let's check. There we While it's completely not official that it's spring, because that's not until later in March, we're proclaiming that it's spring, and I'm aware that it's not like that all over the country because there's some pretty bad weather. But it doesn't mean you can't get ready and you can't think about it, and we know it's coming, and that's all good. It's all good. I love spring. I don't know. Every season I say this is my favorite time of year, and I realize I keep saying it. But I really like spring. It's just a great time of year. It's new, all that stuff. So I'm going to start off with a question just while you guys are getting your questions in, because there's a little bit of a delay. I wanted to read this. It came in today, and it reads, I'm writing to you because I'd like to take a few minutes in the webcast today to talk a little bit about the workshops. I'd like to know how I can get the most of a 2-day workshop. So on these workshops, these 2-day workshops, I really cater them to you. I try to, because there's 10 ladies in the workshop. Everybody's at different levels, so everybody can kind of go at their own pace, and I can keep everybody going at their own pace. Also, I'd like to know, how are they? How are they? I don't know how to answer that question. What do we do there? Most of the women, again, it's to advance any part of sewing that you feel you need help in whatever your sewing is. I'm going to say most of the ladies feel like that area that they need help in is fit, and so they pre-make muslins. There's instructions on the website. They pre-make the muslins, they bring them to the class, and then I drape them, and then I show them how to make those changes back onto the tissue, and if there's any questions, I physically they're doing it with them. So that's what we do, but some women will go ahead and make the whole garment because they have problems transferring the muslin into the final garment. So I'll help them with that process. Again, there's only 10 in the class, so I have plenty of time. Who is going to help me fit my muslin? Me. How many muslins could I bring to the workshop? There's a limit of 6. I didn't have a limit until a lady brought, anyway, 6. 3 per day. Do I need my fashion fabric? Also, that's totally up to you. A lot of women will bring just a pile of fashion fabric and they want me to help them go through it. And what would I make with this? What would I make with this? So it's the pairing of fabric to pattern, and they just want some help and opinions on that. And some women, like I say, want to make the garment all the way through, and that's okay too. All those things are okay. That's what I said. It's perfectly fine for you all to do at your pace what it is you want and need to do in a workshop. The goal of the workshop is for you to take your sewing level to, up a notch or two. In the beginning, when I first did these workshops, I said, okay, everybody do pants, everybody do jacket, but not everybody wears pants and not everybody wears jackets. So I've really gotten it to where I think it's the very best and everybody can kind of cater it to a project they're working on. And I've even had a woman bring in her daughter and fit a wedding dress. So it's all up to what you guys feel like you want to do. Okay, so I hope that helps. If there's any questions, let me know, and we can answer those questions.
Hopefully this will be better and we can tell within 20 seconds now. If it's listenable, we'll just continue.
Okay, so new mic, new day, new dollar. We hope. Seems like the sound is up awfully high. Can we turn it down? Sounds good.
Okay, it's gone. It's good.
Okay, and I know it's really crazy, you guys, but
I know it is.
this you should just be a very simple issue, and unfortunately, it's just not a simple issue. We're smart, we can't. Anyway, thanks for your patience. All right, so we talked about the workshops a little bit. If there's any questions on the workshops, let me know. But let's do our traditional questions and answers, and we'll extend it a little bit because we have mic issues, and then we'll just go a little bit. I think we'll get through everything in this time. We've got just so many fun things planned. Like I said, I love spring. I love going into the stores. I love seeing all the beautiful clothes. And if you guys don't, if you're not motivated by clothes, go shopping. Because there's a lot of beautiful clothes out there, and they're just so pretty. They're just so beautiful. They're like art to me. I just really like them. All right, questions?
Okay, they're still just saying much better and stuff.
Okay.
So I'm sure one will come up here soon. Okay, we do have a question.
Okay.
Who's in the chaos?
In Skirts 2750 in 2009, why did the instructions say the lining darts will be tucks, not sewn? Why don't they need to be sewn? I'm assuming that's the question. Well, because darts are in the outer garment to give direction exact direction to where we want the dart to stop, where we want it to begin. Darts are just a more exact science, I'm going to say. But when you get to the lining is very lightweight, it's very thin, it's a waste of time to stitch a dart. So all you have to do is take a tuck and then just sew it down as you're sewing it they don't actually have to be stitched. So you can just take the tuck, you can sew it into the band or wherever you're sewing it to, and that's all you need. You just need to take away the width of that dart, and so therefore we make a tuck instead. Stitching a dart in the lining would be too time consuming for no gain. So in linings, instead of darts being sewn, they're just tucks are taken. Does that help? Hopefully that answers your question. What is the best fabric for the top you have on? I have mammoth flannel that would look great, and some kind of knit. Would I use the knit arm? You don't have to. This is just a Pontoroma is all this is. So you don't have to use a knit even. You don't have to. I think it's a little bit more the flavor of the garment, but it could be woven. You're not relying on that knit for fit at all. Maybe the band? Well, no, you're not even there either. You want a little bit of stretch in the band, I would think. But this is the same one. We're going to go over this later, and I just think it's adorable. I love this little jacket. Elle's sport jacket, I just love it. It's a little Ellie Tahari, ridiculously expensive, and I just really, really, really like it. Good one to make, and hoodies are really big for spring. Hoodies are really, really popular. So this has a little hood on the back here, and you can go hoodie or hoodie-less. All right. What tops do you recommend for the yoga skirt for a professional office to dress it up? I don't think it's the top that's going to dress it up. I think it's the second piece that you put on top of the top. So let me just explain that. If you take this, for instance, this top could be just the sweater set or the tank top, but I think it's what you put on top of this. This is Hugo's cardigan. It's that mesh, and I've got some more of it. I don't have it up yet, but I'll get it up before morning. So I think it's I think what's popular right now is we can have little jackets that are tops, but they're made out of really light fabric that really give it a great dressy look. So you can take the yoga skirt and make this short little cardigan. We did this last month when Hugo's cardigan was the pattern of the month. We did this one. Another thing I would do is something like this, where it's just a little jean jacket. So you can take a jean jacket out of a nice fabric and make a top, and that really dresses it up as well. So any of those like kind of little jacket patterns, like the 915 in a jacket, the 211, 196, those are all really good. I'm going to call them toppers. I hate to call them that, but you understand what I mean. I don't think I'd try to just dress it up with one top. What I'm saying to you is generally for an office look or a professional look, there's a little jacket or something on top of something else, and that three-piece combination is really what takes it up a notch, as opposed to trying to wear just two pieces. Two pieces in general are just a little bit thought of to be more casual. You have a top and a bottom. That third layer on top, even though it can be a very casual fabric, even though it can be a very simplistic construction, it has a tendency to elevate anything you have on underneath it to a dressier look, a more professional look, etc., etc. Okay? Hope that helps. When you hem knit, do you always use a straight stitch or do you also use a zigzag? I only use a straight stitch. I lengthen my stitch to 3.5, and that way it's easy for the knit to stretch if it has to. 3.5 is what I stitch them on all the time. If you do a little tiny stitch, that's not going to work, but I just use a straight stitch. I just use a little bit longer. Okay? In 3400, if I need to go from size 10 at the hip to 14 at the waist, how should I need to join both? How should I need to join both? I'm going to kind of jump ahead and figure out what you're asking. You're just going to take everywhere there's a size 14, and you're going to lay your French curve down on the 14, on the side seam, on the center front seam, on the center back seam, on the inseam. Well, not on the inseam because you're going to go by the 14 at the hip. But at the 10, and let's say at the waist, you're going to lay it down on the 10, and you're going to push it. I'm sorry, was that a size 10 at the waist and 14 at the bottom? 14, okay, I'm sorry, 10 at the hip, I got it, Brett, sorry. 10 at the hip, 14 at the waist. So lay it down at the 14 or lay it down at the 10, either one, it doesn't make any difference. And hold the bottom into place and just pivot out the top portion until it goes to the 14, and then connect, use the French curve. Use the French curve to connect the 14 to the 10. In every case, lay it down, find the original line, pop it out to the 14 at the waist, and then use your French curve to connect. Same with the inseam, same with the back seam. And once you've got the 10 at the hip, you're going to use the 10 leg and you're going to carry it all the way rest of the down. Very simple to do to transition. And you notice it's just a little bit because there's quite a few seams. So you're just doing a little bit on each seam. Hi Peggy, I have pattern 615. It seems to be tight on me around the arms after I put the elastic around the neckline. But it wasn't tight in the arms before you put the elastic in the neckline? What am I doing wrong? That is way too generic for me to know. Why don't you email me privately? The elastic, this 615 is Kathy's blouse, and it's drawn in by elastic. So I'm not sure if you're saying it fits before. Anyway, let's just shoot me an email and I'll help you with that. But some things you want to think about is just measure the circumference of your arm, because again, you can transition from one size here to another size here. And I'm actually going to go over that pattern a little bit later with you because I want to, we're going to change it up. We're going to make a few little changes on it for some tops tonight. Okay. Would you show to make the armhole template to fit an individual? You know, you guys, it's so funny that because you're typing and you're doing really quickly, and some words really make a difference, you know. But trying to read your mind, would you show us how to make the armhole template? I have mine here. So what I did is I just laid this down on my sweater set pattern and just copied the armhole itself, so it has seam allowances, and then just made it 1 inch wide. So I can just lay that down. This is the shoulder point, this is the side point, and I can connect. Is that what you're asking? I did one for my neck edge too. And then you should have a front and you should have a back. I'm always just showing the front, but you have to have a front and a back. Okay?
Did you do a tutorial?
Have we done a tutorial on it? Brett's asking me.
She said she missed the tutorial.
I've done a lot of them, I think. I think I've done a lot of them. So, I think I've done quite a few. But go back, and if there's not one, we'll do one. You know, we can always do one on there, but I think I've done it quite a few times on how to place it, how to get it. But the most important thing is that you understand it's yours. It's coming from something you wear, something that you like, and then you compare that to a pattern and find it very similar in our patterns and then go from there. All right, are we good? All right, so I just have to shout out to everybody at Puyallup. It was just incredibly fun. Puyallup is a large sewing expo in south of Seattle, Washington State. It was a miserable weekend as far as weather goes. It just rained and, you know, all weekend long, but it was just so much fun to be in a whole crowded place full of sewers. It was just a lot of fun. So thanks all of you for coming to say hi, and it was really, I just love seeing you all. I love saying hello, and we were in the Kai Scissor booth, and it was just fun. So shouts to everybody. If you missed us, we're sorry, and we'll be there next year. It is the trade show that I do. It's the only trade show that I do anymore. And I remember why, because they're a lot of work, and they really, I mean, you know, by the end of the day, my feet are hurting so bad, I'm in tears. It's just a long day to stand on concrete for 9 hours, but it was all good. Your warm hugs made it worth it. Okay, so this is the time of spring, and y'all know what we do in spring. We clean out that closet because we can start all new. And the good news is, because we're sewers and we can do things, we can make clothes much more affordable than if we were shopping. We can afford to replace. And the good news about replacing is always we're getting better and better and better. And our clothes are going to reflect our own personalities more and more and more. So when you do clean out and get rid of, don't think of, oh, you know, I don't know. Don't think of negative. Think of positive. I'm going to get better clothes. I'm going to, the more I sew, the better I get. We all know that. I'm going to donate them to a women's shelter who could really use some clothes. And they're going to love everything you give them. And they're going to be very grateful. So that's all good news. And again, it gets us starting over. And so we're going to take these, remember these 25 pieces, and we're just going to go on a little breakdown. And what we're going to do is take the spring trends and what we like, and we're going to draw them all in together. There's so many articles out there about spring trends and what you should do and what you should wear. And there's lots of articles about wardrobe, but nobody really brings them together. So I feel like it's really important to bring them together, and I'm going to go through and show them. This year I got smart, you guys, because last year I did 25, and then as soon as I did another garment and I made another garment, you all said, okay, that's 26. You got to get rid of something. So I'm below my 25 because I know what's coming in the next few webcasts, and I know what we're making, and I'm really excited. And although I've done it and they're filmed, I can't show you yet. So we're a little below our 25, but that's okay because you're going to see them upcoming. And there's just so much good stuff. There's so many good stuff, and we're keeping you right on trend. So we've done our homework. We've looked all around. There's some beautiful things out there, so let's get going. But again, I want to start off with your 5 pieces. So you're going to have 5 categories, your 25 pieces, your 5 categories. You're going to have your tops. You're going to have your jackets. You're going to have your skirts, your pants, and then your dresses. And the goal here is to cater them to who you are and what you do. I love dresses in the summertime, and this is not summer, this is spring, but I have a tendency to gravitate toward skirts and dresses. And like in the summertime, I don't know if I even put on a pair of pants just because it's warm, it's hot. And so I love full skirts, especially that I can sit down and be comfortable and not be ladylike, and I just really enjoy full flowy skirts. So I gave myself 3 skirts. I gave myself 4 pants, again, because this is spring. I'm going to kind of revamp it a little bit for summer, but this is spring. And spring for me is still cool in the evenings, and I'm still in pants. 5 jackets, because jackets are really popular right now. Dresses, I gave myself 4, and I gave myself 10 tops. Tops are one you're going to find the most of because you can use the same pants repeatedly and just put a new top and it feels like it's a whole new part. Okay, so those are my 25. You all should have your 25. Now what I'm going to do is, as I go down the trends list for spring, I'm going to show you what mine are so you can see how I took the spring trend and incorporated it into my wardrobe capsule. So the goal is, and it really doesn't take long, it's kind of fun to just, you know, kind of organize your wardrobe, if that's a fair way to say it, just to kind of think about it, plan about it. Doesn't have to all get made tomorrow, but we're going to make it all in March. This is only the beginning, so we've got lots of time and we're going to get it all done. So follow along, ladies. All right. So I want to cover 3 aspects of spring. And the first, of course, is styles. What styles are popular. Then, of course, there's fabrics. What fabrics are being used. And then we're going to go colors. And I think that when we can take all of those together and build it into our wardrobe, that's a home run. It's just going to be a home run and we're really going to like it. I think it's important to understand the trends because sometimes we can really use them to our advantage, and sometimes we'll look at them and say that's just not going to happen. It's just not going to be on my body. And I have said that, although y'all know that, you know, it changes, it evolves. So I always say never because I know so many of us said we would not wear leggings again, and here we are living in leggings, and I love them. I hope they never go away, but that's just me. I just love the trend and the look. Okay, so we're going to start with styles. And number 1 in styles is all across the board, there's a very heavy deconstruction look. It's not just in fabrics, it's actually in garment and the way they're being made. They're being left, raw edges left, they're being slashed, they're being torn, they're being mutilated. I guess that's the only way I know how to say it. And so when I did the whole denim thing, and when I did the whole denim and deconstruction and leggings are a home run. They're just all together, but t-shirts and deconstruction, again, is a home run. I wore these to Puyallup on Friday. No, I guess it was Thursday, sorry. And they're just really fun. And somebody said to me, aren't you too old to wear holes in your jeans? And I said, no, I'm not. And that's kind of the way I feel. A lot of the young kids are wearing holes in their jeans. But my holes are not like over the top holes. They're just like a little bit of rip. And so some jeans, like the whole thigh is showing, or the whole side of the leg, or, you know, that's not what my jeans are doing. My jeans are just showing that I'm aware of the trends, and I'm just kind of, I'm there. I'm not over the top. So even as a almost 60-year-old person, this is a no-brainer. You can do this. All right. In seams to the outside, raw edges, all of those things, that's really been accomplished in one of our new patterns. It's 117. It's called the cut-up tee. I promise you guys, as I'm watching these styles, I'm watching them way ahead of time. And so the patterns, the goal of these patterns for me is to hit those trends right on. It's funny, if you go back over the several years, we actually sometimes hit the trends a little bit ahead of them, and they actually don't pick up for a year later. And I love that when that happens. But sometimes I'll see a pattern really sell in its peak about a year after it's been released, and that's just because, and that's okay, but it's just because we were a little early on it. So this is the this 117 called the cut-up tee. You can see that the pieces are all just layered on top of each other. We have shipped a lot of these patterns, so a lot of you have had a chance to get them and had a chance to look at them. They're just fun. We did this in a stripe last week so you could really see it. And these are just 2 great tops for springs. Just a solid t-shirt, a solid knit is really where t-shirts are at for spring. And yet to take it and just mix it up a little bit to where it's got pieces to it now and you're putting all those pieces back together and the fit is still incredible. That's what I'm going for. That's what really I like. All right, and anywhere along this, you guys stop me and ask for questions. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going, okay? All right, hoodies. Hoodies. So the whole reason I did the jacket I have on, because the hoodie trend is so strong for spring. It is cute. It is cute. It is cute.
So I did another version so that you could just kind of get another idea for hoodies. And I'm always kind of trying to, hey, this was 117, this is the cut up tee, and then this is the little hoodie, 917 L Sport Jacket. I'm really trying to always think of your sewing skills, your fitting skills, where you're at, and try to make it as easy as possible. This right here is the same hoodie I have on. I've just done a couple changes to it. And I actually saw this. It was almost identical. I saw it in Nordstrom's, and I just immediately loved it. So it was 2 colors. It was a stripe and a solid. I've done that perfectly here. But then what they did is the center front was on a fold, and it was shorter. So I shortened it just a little bit, center front on the fold, so you literally can just pull it over your head. No zipper. You don't have to worry about sewing a zipper, finding a zipper to match. You don't have to do any of that. And then this little drawstring was tied in a bow. So when you sew the hood on, it stops a little bit short of center front. Just leave it and then just finish the neck edge. And then I just took this gray fabric. This is a cotton, and it's on the site, and I just ripped it. And I made it a yard long, and then I laced it through the hood, and then of course it just ties in a bow. You could leave it open if you wanted to and just wear it open, or you could tie it in a bow. And this at Nordstrom's, this little top was done by Philip Lim, 3.1 Philip Lim, and it was in the high 200s. So I thought, oh my, that's just a really easy thing to duplicate. Cute, cute, cute. If you're playing with stripes, because stripes are really big for spring, turn them opposite direction so you really get the play of the stripes. This particular fabric is a one-way stripe, so the stripe has to go around. Doesn't really have to because it's not really a tight garment, but then this is really fun to let the stripes go the opposite direction. Okay, so hoodies, that's your 917. Add-on bling for spring. Under styles, there's a lot of add-on bling, and as you all know, we did a neck piece, and of course that neck piece, I just love it. Love it, love it, love it. Yes. Please explain how you sewed the cut-up tee. It looked like it was done right side up in your video. Well, all of that, you guys, is in the guide sheet. It's all in the guide sheet. All to do is follow the guide sheet. It's exactly worded right on out in the guide sheet. If you're going through it and if you have a problem, just email me through and we'll talk. But it's all in the guide sheet. How to do the neckband is an awesome little feature. This is really a great way of doing this neckband, and that is again why I love staying current, because it just looks more current. The way this is done, it's the wrong side, the right side to the wrong side, and then flipped out again, but it's all in the directions, and it's very clear, very easy to follow. All right, so going back to a little bit of splits and glitz, I did this piece here, and as you know, just last week we did a little bit of lace, because lace is so popular for spring. We did a bell sleeve because bell sleeve, and so this one I'm going to keep in my wardrobe for spring simply because it's so trendy. It's so current. I just really, really like it. So that's part of my 25 pieces, my pattern number 312. And then the other thing I wanted to show you about bling is, I've got so many clothes around here, you guys. Oh, I'm going to go back to where we were doing this underneath. This is a little brown shirt that we did a little bit ago. It was the Let's Sew series. You'll find it in the Let's Sew series. A little bit of sparkly on the front, and then of course this rip. So you can see that I did this, I don't know, a few months ago. It's just right on trend for spring. So again, the great news about doing it yourself is you can cut these around your bra, or you can cut them above your bra. You can really keep it as modest as what you want to. So you can see just a really cute little shirt, and this deconstruction gringe kind of whatever it is just really strong and really popular. So that brown goes great with my jean jacket, my leather jean jacket, so I'm going to keep that in my wardrobe also. I just really, really like that one. The trench coat. This trench coat is really strong. I'm going to give you a couple references for trench coats because we just put some fabric up today. It's a cotton, perfect for trench coat. And y'all know we got the buttons and we've got all of that for the trench coat. But I want you to think about other fabrics because I'm going to give you two references. You can do one Armani, And this is an Armani trench coat. It's beautiful. It's a black lamb leather trench coat. Absolutely gorgeous. I won't tell you the price. The other one is an Alexander McQueen, and it's a floral. And thank you, one of you guys sent this to me. $24,000 for this trench coat. But I want you to look at it because there's not anything about it that you can't do except put the name Alexander McQueen on it. I mean, other than that, $24,000 for a trench coat, I don't know. I just can't even wrap my head around that. I don't care if I won the lottery tomorrow. It just seems like that's a little bit too much for a trench coat. $24,000. Alexander McQueen. Go, you can Google it, and I appreciate getting it sent to me because I think it's just fun to sometimes see the extremes we have in fashion. It's art. The military look is still very popular. I think it will continue as long as we have war and war going on. It's almost like a tribute to the military. It's almost like an appreciation of what they do and who they are. So I think that style and that trend will stay present for some time. And then we go into ruffles and gathers, and there's lots of ruffles and lots of gathers out there. If you don't like ruffles and gathers, this is not a good time for you. And if you like ruffles and gathers, this is a great time for you. I think I'm somewhere in between, but I really like a little bit. I like a little bit. I don't like too much. It's just too much, but I really do like it. So I'm going to show you this one over here. Let me just move things around just a little bit. Because I'm going to bring this mannequin forward a little bit so you can see. Okay, so this is a combination of everything for spring. This is just a really lightweight cotton. It's a beautiful cotton. I think it incorporates everything possible about spring. The colors, we'll get to the colors, but blue and pink are still really strong for spring. It's got blue and pink and yellow and green, and it's just spring. In fact, we named the fabric Spring because Spring 2017 because it's just absolutely beautiful. This is number 615. This is Kathy's blouse. This is the same blouse as this white one up here, which is on the cover of the jean skirt. So you can look at it on the cover. But there's a couple little changes that we're going to have to make if you want to do it off the shoulder. The pattern itself is just worn up at the top here. And if you want to pull it out, it's got to be enough to go over your bust as well, not just go around your neckline. So I just want to take a minute to explain that. I'm going to come into the original pattern, and I'm going to grab the original pattern. All right, and I'm going to put that there. So this is the sleeve, and this is the only piece you need to change. But the goal is, this is Kathy's blouse, and this is just a little piece that goes around the neck edge. This piece becomes this. This is how wide this becomes. And so you're taking it and just deciding how wide you want it to be. I made mine 10 inches. So again, I had seen this in Nordstrom's, and I loved it. It was actually a top and a skirt. It was not one piece, it was two pieces. So I did the exact same thing. I did the top, and then I've got a skirt down here. It's $28.50. I just love it. Absolutely love it. It's lightweight. It's just perfect for spring. So I make this wider. That's a no-brainer. But in order to know how much wider I make it, I want to wrap the tape measure around my arms, my bust, take it all the way around, and to make sure that this is wide enough so that it won't bind as you put your arms up. Then what I did is I took this piece. This is your sleeve piece. One is the front, one is the back, and I slashed it. So if you can see that this is the original, and you can see that this is wider because what I did is I slashed it now right through the pattern piece, and I added width. So I slashed it here and added an inch. I slashed it here and added an inch. And because this is the sleeve, it's actually 2 inches on this side and 2 inches on that side, so it's 4 inches. So whatever you do to one pattern piece, it's going to double it. So if you need to add 8 inches, add 4 on this side, 4 on this side, add 2 and 2, and you'll have enough. And then add the same amount of length to this piece. So what I did is, because I added 2 here and 2 here, this is cut on the fold, I just added the 4 inches. And that's very easy to do. Alright, but you got to do that in order to be able to wear it off the shoulders like this. But everything else I did exactly like the pattern. It's got a beautiful sleeve here. This is elastic, so it can pull in as much as your arm is. You can make it to fit. It's going to be bigger than your arm. And then instead of doing gathers at the waist, I did a little belt. And then it just goes down. It's slit on the side. And then I did 28.50, and that's Michelle's one-piece skirt, and I shortened that to knee length because I wanted the proportions to be in a line. And then keep in mind, I grabbed, this is a jacket that's this style I'm sure you recognize is all over the place. This is 914. It's called the asymmetric jacket, and this is this double-breasted look like this. I'm just going to wear it open, but you have to know that the combination of soft and leather is really popular. Leather for spring is all over the place. It's just cute as can be. And don't think that, oh, with leather I've got to wear harsh. It's just the opposite. Leather is paired with ruffles, and it's just adorable. Just really cute. So I wanted to show you what it would look like so you could create something for yourself that was really trendy here. When I'm doing these proportions, keep in mind that I always want to bring the proportions into my height. And once I do that, then I can wear all these pieces together because they're all proportioned correctly for my height. And so that's when it works really well. The skirt is knee length. The top here is at my fingertips. This is halfway between my bust and my waist. And then, of course, this is at my waist. So it really works well proportion-wise, and it's just really cute. I just really was excited about the fabric as well as the combination of patterns together. All right, questions. What fabrics are you using for the lining in the trench coat? Is it available on your website? No, we don't really have lining, basically because, I mean, once in a while we do, but I can't really, it's not a fashion fabric, so I'm buying from designers, and those designers are going to hold on to their lining. There's really no reason why they would get rid of lining because they're always going to use it for another season. They're only going to get rid of their fashion fabrics. So lining is not, I know it sounds crazy, but I'm not a fabric store. I know that sounds really surprising to you guys, but fabric stores, you walk in and you expect to kind of find everything. We really just distribute fashion fabric, and especially current trends, fashion fabrics. We don't really have basics even, if that's fair. I mean, we do Ponte Roma and rayon. We have a few like that, but other than that, we really just move fashion fabrics. Sorry. All right. So the ruffles and the gathers, here we are. Then wraps. Wrap tops, wrap dresses, all of those. Diane von Furstenberg's done a great job in keeping that look front and center, and it has. Women love it. And it's still continual. And of course, obviously, the best reason to make yours is so that it actually fits. White jackets. I put a spring trio together. And the reason I put those 3 patterns together is those are really a great combination. The first is 250. 250 is called Pam's Blouse, and it has a ruffle down the front. Not a ruffle. It kind of has a folded front, and then it has a princess seam and a sleeve. We're going to do the princess seam, or the middle, in a print, and the side in a knit. So we're going to combine knit and woven together. It's a great look for spring. It's very popular, and this is going to be a home run to do this with 250. And then 1500, that white jacket, that style 1500 is all over the place. I actually have a white jacket. Mine's in leather. And so I'm not remaking mine. It looks close enough to 1500. I can wear anything I'd wear 1500 with. So I'm leaving my white jacket just as is, but it's definitely going to be a part of my wardrobe. A white jacket, 3/4 sleeve or full sleeve, it doesn't matter. But boy, we're seeing a lot of, and complete white outfits, or white and beige, combination of either one really works well. Off the shoulder, we showed you this one. There is the one that is asymmetric off the shoulder. If I could figure out, if I could find one I like, I don't like them. I feel like they're just like cutting out fabric and leaving it off, and it just seems just, I haven't seen one that I just am in love with, but I will. I'll find one, we'll do it. Just hold off on that, because you guys can cut out the shoulder. I mean, you can take it off, or cut a hole in the sleeve, or any of those things. We've got a few sleeve details I'm going to show you, but that off the shoulder, I'm just not there yet. Tunics are very popular. They are, because leggings are very popular, they're the spring version of what's great to wear with leggings or capris, and they are done well with 4000. We're going to do one. We're going to do some stitching on the side that's going to be just really amazing, but we'll do that down the road. Fringe is still here, and if you're doing Candosa's top, this is a perfect thing to do with fringe, because what you're going to see on this top is Candosa's top has 2 layers. So one layer, this is again designer Nina Candosa, one layer goes over the other layer. So underneath there's like a little tank top, and then this is all on top, and this whole thing is one piece on top. So to fringe this part here that's on top would look amazing, because you'd have your base already there underneath, and you'd already have a double layer. So this in a fringe would be a home run. Just a suggestion. We won't do it because you all know how to fringe, but the combination of doing that would be something that would really look great and be very stylish. All right, on the cowl neck. Cowl neck is everywhere. We've got a great cowl neck planned, really popular again for spring, going nowhere. Absolutely going nowhere. Again, because it's just soft and drapey and really feminine, and it's a really popular look, and it looks good on so many different figure types. Okay, so those are styles. Are we okay with styles? Let's talk about colors. I'm sorry, fabrics. Fabrics first. Stretch denim. Other than jeans, even most of your jeans are going to be a stretch denim. It's fine if you don't want to work with it, but keep in mind with your stretch denim, it's just a little more, well, you know, it's on trend. If you don't like it, just use regular denim. It all looks great, and it will look great. Stretch denim is in. Wash your denim in Coke. Wash it as many times as you need to. These are my stretch denim that I did the leggings. I'll bet I just like, if I have a load of anything, I'll just throw it in with the can of Coca-Cola. So they're like pajamas at this point. They're so soft. They're so comfortable. Polka dots. I love the fact that polka dots are in it. It makes sense. Everything's soft and very feminine. Polka dots are the same way. So if you have some old fabric, I hate to say old, but if it's got polka dots on it, if you love polka dots, pull it out. I remember back in college, I don't think I've worn polka dots since college, but they're in. I think they're cute, especially if they're done well. There's a lot of different ways to do them that are really good. Stripes. Stripes are all over the place. This is our stripe. Love it, especially if you pair it with a solid. It's really nice, especially if they coordinate together, which this does. Florals. We're seeing lots and lots of florals. That's where that trench coat, Alexander McQueen trench coat that was 24,000, that's done in a floral. It's definitely not a trench coat looking fabric, but it works. Leather. Leather for spring. I think it makes sense to me, because somebody said to me a little while ago, you don't know what the difference between spring and summer, and I'm like, okay, I think I do, but tell me why I don't. But you don't wear winter in leather because it's too cold, so leather is more of a spring and a fall fabric as opposed to winter, because winter's too cold for leather. Okay, like I have that, but I can wear wet leather in Dallas in the winter, but I can still wear it in the spring. So I just have a longer season of wearing leather. And then white, all white, one color, works great, but to pair it with beige works well also if all white is a little bit too much for you. And then let me just mention shoes here for just a minute. Don't wear a white shoe if you're wearing white. You want to wear a taupe shoe. Go beige. I wouldn't go too contrasting dark, but a white shoe with a white outfit just looks just too much. So pare down the white on your shoes, and probably easier anyway because white shoes get dirty so easily. Try to pare that down to a neutral color. So the 5 fabrics to have, the 5 different kind of fabrics to have if you're going to collect fabrics and kinds of fabrics, they would be your cotton, your polys. Your polys are all over the place, and your polys are getting better and better and better and better. and they're doing a wonderful job. They're all over. Your viscose is just a really upscaled version of rayon. Rayon has a tendency to wrinkle, where the viscose is just really nice and really beautiful. And then, of course, your linen and your silk. Okay? Those are your great fabrics. Those 5 fabrics will take you all the way through spring and long way to go. All right, so let's talk about colors. Are we okay? Questions or anything?
Do you need hot or cold water with the Coke and diet or regular?
Not Diet Coke, regular Coke. Your water temperature should be conducive to your fabric. I always use cold because I always use cold for my clothes. You know, hot water to me is for more like towels or, you know, stuff like that. Your regular clothes, you're not trying to sterilize them. You're just trying to clean them. So hot water is just, I think, a little bit too aggressive on them. Okay, but your clothes, your call. All right.
Could you explain how to lay your pattern on stripes to get the V-stripe coming down the top?
Yes, to get the V-stripe, well, you can do a couple things. You generally, if you want a VV, I saw one the other day in the store, and I took a photo in it thinking I would do a little webcast on it. You need a seam. You need a center front seam to create that V coming down the front, and then it's just a 45-degree angle. So whenever you guys, if you will use your French curves to create a 45-degree angle, if you take a 1-inch square, bless you, if you take a 1-inch square, and put right down this front here, like just to the front of your pattern, and take a 1-inch square and put the square of the 1-inch here and the square of the 1-inch here, there you can see is a perfect bias. So then what you do is you take the front of your pattern and lay it on that bias. And it's very easy, especially when you fold your fabric together, you've got to make sure that it's folded together and that your stripes are matching. And then turn the pattern on a bias, 90-degree angle, you'll have it. And all of your angles will meet. Okay? Fun to do. Very fun to do. We're seeing that a lot in yoga skirts. We're seeing that a lot in tops, front and back. And it's a good look. Hemline question, asymmetric or straight hems? We're seeing both right now. We're really seeing both. I have a tendency to love an asymmetric as long as you can tell that it was meant to be asymmetric. I think sometimes asymmetric looks like it was just crooked. So I know that's probably a very fine line between those two, but I can tell a difference. To me, it's easy to tell a difference.
Is your white leather jacket lined?
Is the white leather jacket lined? Yes. Yep. And so you can see with this white leather, when this comes off, that's what I love about this fabric. I mean, I just really am in love with this new fabric. This is just a really cute way. If you go with white, white has a tendency to kind of tone down the print, whereas a color that matches the print has a tendency to bring it up. So a matching color will kind of promote the print a little bit more, whereas a white will tone the print down a little bit more. And I purposely, when I did some stitching on the skirt, I did white as opposed to a color, again, because a white tones it down and a color pops it a little bit too much. It almost makes it look too childish in some cases, so just be aware of that. And yeah, I love my little leather jacket. All right, are we ready for colors? Peggy, will you have on the pink leather available on your website? No, this is really a little more specialty. I would send you to, the reason I got the leathers, you guys, and the leathers that I got, they're such a good price that you couldn't get them anywhere else at that price. But I was limited to the red that I have, the brown, and the black. I have a little bit more coming in a different color, but it's not going to be here just yet. This is that iridescent pink, and so this is kind of specialty. And I would, like I said, go to Leather Impact for that. They'll have that. That's where I got it, was Leather Impact. And tell them that I sent you. They'll give you a little bit of a discount. I think 10 or 20%. All right, colors. We're okay with that? The waist, is the waist on 3316 on the waist or lower? Lower. Lower. It's a legging, and usually these leggings or jeggings, both of those, it doesn't have to be. Again, you guys can put it where you want, but they're usually a little bit lower. And everybody needs a new pair of black yoga pants. I made a new pair up last week, and I warmed a Puyallup, and I was really glad. They're so fresh and clean. And even when I think my other ones are fresh and clean, then I just start wearing them for around the house, or, you know, they kind of progress. Eventually they become painting pants, and then they become pajamas, or vice versa. You can just kind of progress them down the line, but it's nice to have a new pair. You don't realize how the old ones are faded until you get a new one. What's the pattern number of the white leather jacket? This is 19 Lafayette's jacket. No, it's not. No, we'll get it for you. Hang on just a second. Jacket 148, that's what it is. 1954, isn't it? 1955, I'm sorry. It's called Jacket 148. That's because it was a Lafayette 148. And actually, this is, we came out with this jacket. This is kind of exactly what I'm saying. We've had this actually in our line now for almost 2 years. Because I caught it right when Lafayette 148 had released it. For fall, I think it was, or for spring. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But basically, I've seen it now everywhere. I've seen it at Black and all the Boston proper, all the places that copy the designers. I've like seen it at all of them now. It's a great look. It's a really great look, and it's almost like a classic look just because it's such a positive. It's got a beautiful V-neck. It's just a really nice twist up to pattern 1500. 1500, I put that in a group, that spring trio. Number one, because it is all over the place for spring. It's a classic. And number two is, this is our 20th anniversary. That was the first pattern we ever released, is 1500. So I thought it's appropriate to be back in style, back in fashion, in a white jacket. You want to make it a little bit shorter. This is the right length. The jacket 1500, we made it longer because it's easier to make, for us to make it longer for fitting and for you to shorten it. It would be harder to lengthen it because you got to go over all your curves than it is to shorten it. So we made it longer so that you could shorten it. All right?
And that was for spring 2015.
That's for spring 2015, yeah. Okay. All right, so let's do colors, because the colors, oh my gosh, this is just, there's so many beautiful colors out there. They are bright, they're bold. I want to say they're winter tones, but there's everything out there, because this certainly is not a winter, and it really works well with other colors. There's pinks, and they're all shades of pinks. Initially it was just pastel, but now you see pastel and you go all the way through to the darker pinks, to more of this jacket color. You've got the blues and with it, those pinks and blues. That's why I say this fabric is a home. The pinks and blues are really just in there together, and they're in there equally. Blue is a lot of different shades, mainly middle blue to lighter blue, but the pinks are all over the place. And that's because when you get into the darker blue or the navy blue, you get into the nautical look, and the nautical look is really popular again. Those kind of classics I expect to see almost every year. Those nauticals, you know, Ralph Lauren, Calvin Klein, they keep those nauticals around all the time, and so they just have a cleaner, newer twist to them, or they do it in the new silhouette. So when you look at your styles and your fabrics and your colors, they take the classic color and they do it in a new style so that it takes the nautical and still keeps it. They'll do a nautical hoodie, or they'll do a nautical jacket, ruffles, something along those lines, so it just kind of blends the two together. Black and white, the graphics of black and white are still just everywhere. And I think it's interesting though that black and white, while it's still always really popular, we're definitely seeing less black and white in the stores. I know there's still tons, but less black and white in the stores. And what there has been in past years, women are getting a little more courageous. We're getting a little more bold. We actually want color, we like color, and we're not buying everything black and white like we were a couple years ago. Just in contrast is all I'm saying to you. There's still plenty out there, trust me. Solid tees. When I go back to these solid tees are really stylish. The solid blues, the solid pinks, the solid blacks, solid, And then of course our bottoms are either denim or they're a print. And again, a really nice combination together. It's a really great look. With the tunics especially, they're solid tunics with print bottoms, print capris. Nice combination. Neiman's has a lot of beautiful tunics. If you just go to Neiman's and Google tunics, you can really get a lot of fun looks and get lots of great ideas. And I think it's all about ideas. The ideas in every single case are very inspiring. I was in Portland, up there after Seattle was in Portland, and we went to see a Lego exhibit at the OMSI in Portland Science Museum. There's a Lego exhibit, and the guy who created this exhibit, his thought is that inspiration is everywhere. It's all around us. And I was listening to this tape or this little movie that we were watching. I was thinking to myself, that's just really true. We just have to look, and sometimes it's hard to even take the time to look. But once we get the time, just look around, and if we kind of put it in our head to what's new for spring, we'll see it. There's a lot of great new stuff around us. All right, so with that being said, we are close to time frame. Can we answer any questions for you all? Yep, that's okay. Do you have the black lace for the bell sleeve? Yes, it's a stretch lace. It's the 7-inch stretch lace. It's on the Notion page. And it is, you really want to, well, where's my black? The reason I use the stretch lace is you don't necessarily need it down here, but I used it also for this part of the sleeve. And you have to have the stretch because it's a knit sleeve. If you went with a bigger sleeve, you wouldn't need it, but I really wanted that, I really wanted a more form-fitting sleeve so that it would contrast the bell. And so, yeah, you'll need the stretch lace for that. What's the difference between 3300 and 3316? Well, 3300 is just our regular jean. It's just our Lana's jeans. It's just our everyday, pretty much boot cut, regular everyday jean. 3316 is a pull-on. I mean, it's a jegging. Jeggings are much closer to the body. They usually have a little more style and trend in them because they are playing a more major role than with the jeans. The jeans are more of a base, if that makes sense. 3316 is a jegging. So its cut is going to be much closer to the body. I want to make 3100, but I'm wondering if I need to muslin the whole thing or could I just muslin mid-thigh to check the crotch. Can I transfer my changes from Sally's pant to 3100? Yes, you can transfer your changes. 3200, Sally's pant is the base. 3100, yes, that's the same base. You can transfer those changes, but I would still make a muslin. I mean, you don't have to do the whole thing though. Yes, you can go to the knee. However, generally if the crotch length on the back is too long, it hits the knee. If you only go to the knee, then sometimes you might miss that. Or else just make sure that if you only go to the knee, that you watch to make sure the pant is hanging straight rather than pitching into the body. If it's pitching into the body, you've got to take the dart at the hip line. So that you don't have to do it, but sometimes if you don't have a lot of experience, you'll miss some fitting things that take place right at the knee, and they're wrong at the knee, but they're actually wrong at the hip line, if that makes sense. I don't know if I said that correct or not. Loved your presentation in Puyallup. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I loved seeing you guys. Yoga pants will work in ponte knits for those of us without perfect bodies, or is it too structured? No, Pontorama is perfect for those yogas. And we've got brown, we've got a beautiful brown, we've got a gray, we've got a black. Pontorama absolutely is a home run. In the yoga pant class, what we did in Puyallup is I took 3 sizes. I took a 26W, I took an 18, and I took a 12. And so on each of those, on the back of the yoga pant pattern, they had a hip size that was those. And so the ladies came in and I just said, okay, who has a, 52-inch hip? And, somebody raised their hand and they were willing to, these ladies, you guys are just most amazing people on the planet. Anyway, she was willing. We had a little dressing room. She went back, she put them on. We looked at what was right, what was wrong. She didn't need any changes. And the 18 woman didn't need any changes either. Marianne was the size 12, and we had to put a little dart in her hip line. That was it. And everybody could see the difference. Everybody could see before and after. And it was just a really, it's those hands-on things are just wonderful. They just really are. I mean, I love doing workshops for that reason, just to touch base with everybody and get to see you all. But anyway, thanks for being in the yoga class. It was fun. And we gave away a lot of presents and prizes too. We gave away a French cure. We gave away all kinds of stuff. All right. For $28.50, did you just cut it off at the hem? Yes, I did. But when you cut it off, I don't have the pattern with me. I took off 5 inches. Just off the hem. I just cut it off the hem, just like you said. But just make sure that 5 inches, because it kind of curls, because when it hangs, it'll hang straight. Make sure it's an even 5 inches all the way around that shape. So you kind of have to be careful when you're turning it up that you keep that straight. The reason you need to keep it straight is so that when it hangs, it will hang even. All right, so just be aware of that. What fabric did you use to make your new yoga pants? The Pontoroma. I used the black Pontoroma. I always have a pair of black Pontoromas around. Just because I think that Pontoroma, it's a poly, but it lasts. And so black fades. A little while ago we had the best black, and you know, that's gone. I didn't have that, sold so fast I didn't even get any of that. We have a new black that I'm going to put up in a little bit for yoga pants. It's really nice also, but I use the Pontoroma. I like our Pontoroma. Is $27.50 in trend for 2017? Yes. Oh my gosh. Wait till next webcast. I'm gonna blow your mind away with $27.50. So yes, it's definitely in. Double layers. Double layers are really trendy in skirts right now, and they're adorable. So we're gonna do all kinds of fun stuff. We're gonna do some double layering. We're gonna do a little. You have to tune in 2 weeks from now. Are we good? That's okay. We're just trying to answer up your questions. We did say we'd go later. It's a little later. I hate to just hold these guys up. Do you have a men's button-down shirt pattern? Yes. Or a good place that I can find one. Sorry for the newbie question. That's okay, you guys. We have lots of newbies. It's all right. Yes, we have. It's 6012, I believe it is. It's called George's Shirt. And it is a men's button-down shirt. 6012, right? George's Shirt was our first men's pattern we had. So you can look on the website. And we love you newbies. We have 600 newbies since 2 weeks ago. So we love you newbies. You newbies are what it's all about.
Do you have any words of Kai scissor sharpening, or do you know?
Oh, Kai scissor sharpening. You know, they are a carbon fiber blade. Just if you go to look up scissor sharpening wherever you live, and I know that you need to tell them that they're carbon fiber scissors, not steel, because they don't take a lot to get to the sharper point, and they hold it for a long time. So just be sure that, like, if you Google in your area, carbon fiber scissor sharpening. And just talk to the person, make sure they know what they're doing, and you should be fine. Are we good? All right, so we got all kinds of more things coming up for spring. I really enjoy doing these interim webcasts because, like, I have so many ideas, my head is busting open, and I really want to share those with you. It's just really fun to, you know, what's the fun of having it all myself? It's a lot more fun to share it with you all. So thank you all for listening. And then also, we have the 4-pack, and we traditionally over the 20 years we always did like a, I don't know, like a special or pre-sale, whatever we call it. We don't do that anymore. We just group them all 4 together, and by the time you buy 3 of them, it's cheaper than if you were to buy, by the time you buy 4 of them, it's cheaper. It's a good savings. But that ends tomorrow, just an FYI. Tomorrow is the last day. We'll send out an email in the morning, but it is the last day to get them as a set. And then we'll just stop the set price and we'll go from there. So the goal is to have happy sewing from Silhouette Patterns. Thank you for being here tonight. And we will see you on Thursday night. And then in 2 weeks, we'll do the March POM. Good night. Thank you.